So there you can see Penny Pincher, reduces the cost of all repairs. We've got one over there called Everybody's Friend, removes the reagent requirement for all raid-wide buff spells. Figured you'd like that one, for sure. Here's a couple other examples. So on the left, we've got cash flow, increases the gold drop rate for all kills from creatures or players that reward experience or honor. And on the right over there, you can see mass resurrection. And obviously, mass resurrection is down at the bottom of the tree. And we want this tree to feel just like any other talent tree would feel. We want you to have the decisions to be meaningful. We want you to pick these talents because you feel like they're really good for your guild specifically. The whole goal here is to create diversity among the guilds. You might be a guild that chooses to go all the way down and get mass resurrection there, but you don't see the talent right next to it is raid summon, which allows you to summon your whole raid to you at one time instantly. Now that might be something you might want instead. And there's just a wide variety of this stuff. There's talents that are great for leveling, some that are great for PvP. We try to cover the gamut. And yes, these are definitely going to be re-talentable. You can definitely respec your guild talents. So there's a second concept that goes along with this. As you're earning guild experience, we're basically going to convert that experience and right away when you earn it into guild currency. And currency for your guild is the way that you're going to be able to buy cool rewards and things that will help your guild out. And we've got a ton of things that you can buy with this stuff. We've got vanity items. We'll do things like mounts. We'll do things like standards that will have your guild insignia on them. So when you get that first boss kill, you can throw down a standard. It's got your guild logo on it. Take your screenshots. We'll have things like mounts that'll have flags from your guild, a variety of stuff. Guild currency will be used to pay for your talent respecs, for example. So if you want to respec your guild quite a lot, you're going to have to be earning enough experience to get that currency to do it. The biggest thing probably you'll be buying with the currency, though, is the guild profession plans. These are what allow you to make guild heirlooms. Now, guild heirlooms are going to be able to be built by any people that have that profession in your guild. So the way this is going to work is you'll buy the plan for the guild, and it'll actually show up on a skill vendor. The same way you would go to the blacksmith skill trainer and you would buy a recipe from him. Anyone in your guild that has the required profession rank to actually use it can go to this guy, buy the plan, and learn it right away. Now, if he leaves the guild, he then loses the recipe, obviously, because he's not in the guild anymore. So the kind of picture I think you're kind of catching on, the idea is we really want people to feel like it's valuable to be in the guild, and you want to stay in the guild. You don't want to bounce around necessarily as much because you're getting these great benefits from being here, which really makes you want to have a great guild. So, the professions. The plan here is that everyone's going to have access to it via the skill trainer. We're going to do this also, we're going to have a guild vendor. And these are going to be in all the major cities. You'll be able to go there and spend the currency. We're planning to permission the currency, so we'll have a new permission in the guild systems panel that'll allow you to set up who in the guild can spend the currency. So that'll be up to you guys to figure out. Now, the guild heirlooms are bound to the guild. So if you're wearing, like, say, I don't know, a chess piece, and you leave the guild, that you'll get a warning, and as soon as you leave the guild, that chess piece will automatically get returned to the guild bank. So no more, working up to that item that you guys have been trying to get to for a long time, and then the guy takes it and then bounces and leaves the guild. Now those items will go back and stay with you. So the concept here is that these work like our other heirlooms. They're going to scale with level, and we plan to cover, we would like to cover all the professions, as many slots as we can get for this stuff. We really want it to feel like we've got everything covered. So now, besides guild heirlooms, you're also going to be able to make just normal items that will also be great for the guild. And you'll buy these as plans the same way, but they might not make heirlooms. They might make things like, say, potions or elixirs, things that you can use during raids. And the concept behind these is they're also bound to the guild, so you can only use them if you're in the guild, but there's talents in the talent tree that will benefit this stuff. So there can be talents in the tree that increase the effectiveness of potions that you might, or elixirs that you might drink during a raid. And so you get those benefits by staying in the raid, in the guild. One last thing on the guild currency is you're also going to be able to buy reagents. So for some of these new heirlooms, we want to use some of the new profession items that people are going to be mining and herbs and things that you're going to find out in the world, but we're also going to have reagents that you can buy directly. And that's another way that you can spend that guild currency. So instead of maybe having to use a frost lotus for every pot you make, you might be able to buy a guild reagent and use that instead. All right, looking for guild. This is something that we've wanted to do for a while. We really wanted to find a way for those players that want to get into a guild to have that be easier, but also come up with a great way for guild leaders to be able to find new members that they're looking for. And so the concept of the system is that we're basically going to let you filter based on various requirements of what you're looking for. The interface, we want it to be pretty simple, not complicated, because we want new players to be able to hop into the game, be able to find a guild, and not have too much difficulty. So here's an example of a mock-up of what we would concept for this. So you can pick your availability, weekdays and weekends. You pick your class role, your level. Now, this screen you're seeing right here is what a guild would see when they're recruiting for members. So they can say they're only looking for max level. They can say the type of play style they want, casuals, hardcores. And then down at the bottom, you can make a comment. For instance, you can only raid after 7:30, something like that. And then people could see this stuff and be able to filter through it. Okay, guild achievements. This is another thing we wanted to do along to expand the achievement system to really support the idea of doing something really great in the game, but doing it with your friends. So the concept here, like I mentioned earlier, is that we're going to have a ratio. And the ratio is basically going to be, we're shooting for about 75%, like I said. So in a 25-person raid, as long as you have 20 players there from your raid, you would then earn those achievements. We're planning to do new achievements for this system, as well as go back and take some achievements from our existing dungeons and raids and make them into guild achievements. So if you look at, say, Oldawar, it's got over 50 achievements. You know, we'd probably go back there and maybe take 4 or 5 total achievements, and they'd usually be for, say, clearing one whole section of the dungeon. We're not going to go back and take everything like Hot Pocket and turn it into like a guild achievement. So here's a couple examples of some things that we think could be cool guild achievements. Become a Grand Master in all professions. So this would mean your guild, you would want to have exactly what it says. So one person that's a Grand Master in everything, and doing that would give you that guild achievement. Perhaps completing a legendary item, something that typically can only happen within a guild. And these would be achievements that you get rewarded for. So here's a look at kind of a mock-up of what we could see this system looking like. So there's a new category on the left of the achievement panel for guild, and over there on the right you can see those. There's one in there, Become Exalted with all factions, United Nations, example of one. I think we actually have that achievement for single players now. Someone actually gets that too, but the idea of doing this for a guild. And then down at the bottom, you can see the concept. It would be showing like your guild logo when this pops up. And everyone in the guild would see that when your guild gets the achievement. So finishing up, a couple new features we're talking about. One big thing in the interface is to do a guild news feed. I've got a mock-up of this for you guys to see in just a minute here. But the concept is that we'd show, you know, the last maybe 2 to 3 days worth of things that have happened within the guild. And this would be right on the guild pane when you log in. We're going to do a whole new UI for the guild pane. And it would show things like boss kills. It would show things like loot that's been picked up by different members of your guild, reputation gain, profession gain. Characters that have leveled up. We've got a wide variety of things that can go in this, and it would all be linkable. So, you know, if someone finally gets that legendary and you weren't there, you could log in the next day and see that someone had just gotten their Valinar, for instance. And this will be filterable. So you'll be able to turn this on and off. If maybe this is info you're not super into, you can decide to filter it out, just like the chat panel lets you filter out different things. Another big thing is access to guild members' profession info. So this is going to let you you'll be able to sort by skill level. You'll be able to open and close roll-ups that show all the different professions. And if that member's online, you'll actually be able to look right directly into their profession book and see all the recipes they could make. Guild bonus. This is the concept of basically being able to get money for the guild overall. And so this is going to be supported through the talent system. And the pitch here is that you'll be able to spend a certain amount of talent points to up a percentage of gold. And this is extra gold that would drop. So let's say, you know, you kill Yogg and he normally drops 10 gold and you have 5% extra here. He's going to drop that extra gold, and when it's looted, it will go directly to the guild bank automatically. So instead of doing something like a tax system or a TIS system where every single bit of gold that every member of the guild gets taxed, instead we thought that this would be a little bit of a cooler way to do this so everyone just feels like they're getting rewarded for their contributions to the guild rather than being taxed. Another thing through the UI we'd like to do is be able to invite other guilds to events, and we think this is great for pug guilds. So you might have two guilds that only have, say, maybe 15 members each, 20 members each, but they want to run 25-player raids. This way they could invite that other guild through the calendar system and be able to have invites. So here's a couple mock-ups of this stuff. Here you can see the profession panel, and you can see there's rollouts to open and close. You can see the skill level for people. All that's sortable. And then over there on the right, you can see the concept of the guild news. So you can see people earning achievements, items that have been looted, bosses that have been killed. There's a little bit of a mix around there on the UI. You can see the guild experience now, your guild currency. These are mock-ups, but this is kind of the direction we're definitely heading. All right, so that's the guild advancement system. I'm going to head it over to Greg here. He's going to talk a little bit about Mastery and Pass of the Titans.
What's up? Guys excited about Cataclysm so far? It's going to be good. We're pretty excited about it. Mastery, I'll explain. So we have talent trees. They're cool, but they're getting kind of big. And the first thing we started to worry about is, hey, if we had 5 more levels, are we going deeper in the talent trees? And you're going to have to be like scrolling down, and everyone's going to have to learn new builds. And we also have this problem where a lot of talents are trying to do 3 different things. You'll see this a lot, particularly in some of the newer talents. Oh, Warlock DPS is too low. Oh, we'll tack a little bit onto this talent that we know they all take. And so the talent descriptions get really long and convoluted, and they're kind of hard to understand. We also have this problem of passive bonuses competing with fun or utility talents. The fun talents are something we want players to get, but we know that everyone feels like they have to get the basic talents to let you do your job. Your DPS, you can't pass up anything that's like a 5% DPS talent. You have to get those, and there's a lot of talent trees that have maybe just a few points that they can actually spend on what they want to spend. We think that sucks. So we've made ourselves a little bit of work for Cataclysm. We're going to take a lot of the passive talents and just get rid of them. And you will earn the passive benefits you would get just for spending points in that tree. Yeah. I've got a mock-up in a second. It explains. It's pretty easy to understand. You can still decide, hey, I'm a combat rogue or I'm a balanced druid, and you still get the benefits you would want, but you can get a lot more fun talents. And we can unkitchen syncify the talents. That's our big word for talents that are trying to do 5 or 6 different things, and usually the last thing is, oh, and also add some healing or tanking ability. So we're going to prune the passive talents. Here's some example of talents that you will likely see go away. Spell power. I mean, it's a fun talent, right? I mean, you need it. It's good, but cruelty. Hardly ever seen a warrior without cruelty. And Fire and Brimstone is one of those, like, hey, it needs to do this and this and this and this and this to make sure that Destro Warlock DPS is where it needs to be. So the kind of talents we want, that we want you to be able to get and the kind that we'll add more of, are things like